My name is Brent Luallin, and I teach or have taught, right, the ITF course, the A+ courses, the Azure Fundamentals course, and I've also, in the past, also taught Windows courses as well. My educational background has actually been over the last 20, 25 years. I originally started out as getting my bachelor's degree in 1996, and then in 2000 I got my master's degree in information systems management from a former university called Coleman University, and I have taught probably about 22, 23 years now, as well as having worked in the industry for several different companies. One of them being a smaller kind of contracting company. It was called CTS. We worked for various different contracts, like the DDR Distributions West for the Department of Defense. We also did contracts for many different lawyer firms in downtown San Diego, called Appleby and Newton's. We also did contracts for the Sharp healthcare facilities as well, including not only the ones in San Diego, but also ones in Murrieta. And from there, I worked for a company called Inacom Information Systems, and then we had contracts with SONY, Scripps, the Scripps Medical Hospital sort of network, and we did a bunch of different contracts with them, as well as also doing repair work, bench work, stuff like that for them. And that is pretty much where I went into teaching from there. So I'd spent about like 4 or 5 years in the industry doing various different things, anywhere from being a bench tech all the way up to a network technician. Worked a lot with system admins, basically at SONY, when they were a bunch of different, they probably still work this way, but they did a bunch of different departments, they kind of business units that worked together. So we were kind of licensed or contracted to do a bunch of those different businesses, even though they operated independently. This is back in the days when they were making CRTs, right? The big old tube television screens, right? And things like that. Got to see how they made those things. They were actually making them in the factory there before they moved into Mexico, probably about like 10, 15 years ago. I was first offered teaching with the school I had graduated from, and so I taught at nights part-time after getting my associate's degree as sort of like a teacher's assistant at first, and then kind of moved into part-time adjunct. Taught a lot of things with the electronics, right? So resistors, transistors, right? Circuitry, logic circuits, right? All those kinds of things were kind of my first gig. I actually enjoy seeing students realize that first aha moment, right? When they sort of say, oh, well, this really is impacting my life even now, right? And that how technology is rapidly changing the way that people interact with each other, as well as also doing business and being able to understand it and still also have fun at the same time. And this industry is always, changing on a regular basis, so there's always something new to learn. I'm very passionate about the cloud and using virtual machines for testing and also just recreation and being able to figure out what they could do. I like to push the limits on things, right? See when it's going to break. Like to see what the capabilities of various different new technologies are. Most recent one has been like the artificial intelligence stuff, like ChatGPT, right? Kind of pushing its limits on there to see where, like if I could push it up to where it mess up and do things like that. I would say going into this industry, get ready for a lot of lifelong learning, because this thing is always changing, right? Sometimes, as short as 6 months, right? So you got to make sure that you can really learn how to learn, right? Learn how to pick up things really fast, right? And be able to move into those specific areas, and always push your way out of the comfort zone, right? And take on those projects that nobody seems to want. To me, CIAT makes us, we stand out as a difference to other institutions is we really believe in not only learning about the subject, but also getting our hands on those things as well, right? Trying to get as close to the actual real job kind of functionality, and being able to explore the different more in-depth subjects, right, that go along with this industry functionality. One of the big things, of course, is that our inclusion of a lot of hardware, especially in the CompTIA classes, where they get basically a PC for them to work on, as well as also being able to mess with the operating system on a very low level, being able to move around and be able to understand it really well, and understanding the different little hardware parts that go together in that, as well as also in networking, where we get also some hands-on stuff there too, right? So they get to look at least some of the most common, right, things that they encounter in their everyday life, and they get to understand how it functions, right? And it's not just pure magic anymore, right? There is actually something behind it.